After the attempted assassination of former President Trump, both sides are asking for calm. However, a political science expert tells us anger is the fuel that drives political campaigns.
WDRB's Richard Essex spoke to that professor as the country's political temperature starts to boil. Richard?
Well, the bottom line is anger works in politics. You may not like the candidate of your party, but the campaigns are betting that they could make you really dislike the other candidate.
I mean, there's nothing changed. I mean, like, look at what they're doing to us.
In the seconds after the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump, he raised his fist to the crowd, yelling, "Fight, fight, fight."
Certainly compared to 8 years ago, voters are angrier now. I think voters were angry in 2020 as well. I think what's interesting about this election is that the anger is from different sources depending upon whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican.
Stephen Webster is a professor of political science at IU Bloomington and the author of American Rage: How Anger Shapes Our Politics.
Politicians have continually sought to make us angry, and this is because anger works in political campaigns.
He says political anger for Democrats is the prospect of Donald Trump returning to the White House. For Republicans, it's inflation and immigration into the country. But this year, both President Biden and former President Trump have factions within their own parties that are unhappy.
And so this sort of idea that I may not like my party's candidate matters less than whether I dislike the other party's candidate. And so what we see is that anger and dislike motivate people more than bonds of affection.
Webster says that anger has driven campaigns and voters for decades because it works. He says it is unlikely we will see a turnaround anytime soon, but will anger lead to violence?
That most polls about support for violence in this country are quite low. And so I generally don't think we're going to see people out on the streets fighting. But that being said, it is the case that people who go out and commit acts of violence are generally angry.
With photojournalist Greg Shapker, Richard Essex, WDRB News.